Okay, I hope I remember my comments. One has to do with your discussion. I think this is something Leonard referred to. It's not, you don't have just a dichotomy between average values and particular identifiable groups. There is another measure, and the psychometric people have all these data, if they would ever process it that way, which is diversity of views. Even if you don't identify the specific groups associated with the information about how diverse people perceive various things could be very valuable, I think, and I think Leonard alluded to that. Second little comment is, while I totally agree with you that you need to have communication between communicators and toxicologists, this has to be done with care. Toxicology is a wonderful field that right now is undergoing a great deal of advance. And the mental models that people are using are shifting. And you want to be sure you reflect actually people's understandings of new models in toxicology if you're trying to match that.
And thank you for those comments. But I wholeheartedly agree. Comment about the psychometric paradigm was that in order to affect change in or implement improvements in risk communication, we typically are looking at average values that are being mentioned by the psychometric paradigm, and conveying and moving from that diversity information into improving risk communication strategies. That's where we're not yet there, but certainly that I concur is something where we need to look at. The second comment, I also agree. When I threw in toxicologists and risk experts, so you don't only have toxicologists that are important. You also have to have exposure scientists. You have to have even communication between modelers, fate and transport modelers. I'm coming from the risk assessment side, so we're led the Oak Ridge National Laboratory Environmental Restoration Program. So we definitely are needing to interact more closely, not just with toxicologists and risk perception, but also with the other scientists, and they have to interact within their community, and then we can develop better strategies for risk communication.
Well, I have a couple of comments or questions. First, you speak about the psychometric paradigm. I'm not quite sure what's included in that term. As I pointed out in my talk earlier today, one has always to consider specific or unique aspects of all risks. And we speak about chemicals emitted from consumer products. That seems to be a very special case that may well call for new dimensions that weren't included in the psychometric paradigm. That's my first point. And my second point is that you also didn't cover at all the issue of trust. Not social trust and not epistemic trust. And I think in order to understand this perception, you really have to also consider the trust.
I agree. Thank you for the comment. And again, our study looked very specifically. Obviously, we had to put the blinders or the constraints on someplace, and so we focused specifically on one area to then develop our classification. I agree, trust is an important issue. However, in evaluating our effectiveness of different risk perception methodologies for improving risk communication, we didn't think the trust issue is implicit in the psychometric paradigm analysis that we evaluated. So you're right, I think that's a very valuable point. It certainly has to be one of the factors. I heard today some other factors that should be included, such as religiosity, as part of the moral factors segment, if you will. Those factors all need to be accounted for in risk communication strategy development. However, that is typically part of different methodologies that are that were the focus of what we talked about.